Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to give a comment on June 1st, 2022. I was identified with the COVID-19. This, however, commenced on May the 30th of 2022. Therefore, I had it for 2 days before eventually ambulance vehicle stopped by to give me assistance. There was a lot of stuff they anticipated I'm gonna say in respect to this case. A physician who examined me at the hospital was this guy here. And before I made it to the hospital, there was another physician, younger physician, whom already I have identified. This guy here was involved, I can say, in crime against me since 1995. This is half Serbian. His name is Oliver, which kind of sounds like a Croat, but it's not. His mother was very, very Slovenian. She is late now. This was an old mother he had, but his father was, I suppose, a Serbian, but the thing about it is that this individual whom I have identified, I can tell a whole lot of information more about this guy. This house here that you see here, this household, this house of ours, when MK Ultra started in 1995, when I was brought from Miami, Florida, United States of America, hijacked by the Central Intelligence Agency, by the FBI, by American politicians, just some 5 years down the road, they no longer were playing. This guy was involved in MK Ultra too. This guy here, this individual Kostic. This guy was involved as well. This guy. I have not seen one yet, but I remember the name Kostic, last name. Next to Dr. Igor Kotar, that's a neighbor here. Just about 5 years down the road, or maybe 4 years down the road, they started to play with viruses inside of this house. This house became, I'm gonna get to all this stuff, so that first of all, that we get some kind of, we get somewhere with this stuff, because this is actually, it's gonna be really, really confusing. I'm gonna start with right here, what I have noticed when I was brought from Poland in 2018. First, I'll give you a little glimpse of myself. I'll say hi to you. Hello. Right here outside, did you see right here outside in front of the house? In 2018, I was hijacked from Poland, where I did go to file for political asylum, and it was a morning, and in front of the house I was with my mother, drugged up, and with the Dr. Igor Kotar, that's a neighbor, a physician, in this street right there, just about one home away from there, about one house away from here. And it was my mother that was visibly upset. This was in 2018. I went to Poland to file for political asylum, and in 2018 hijacked from where I filed for political asylum and brought here again to Slovenia, right at my parents' house. And my mother was in a very, very bad mood at the time. For the first time, I noticed myself, I didn't fear them, not even a little bit. No one, Kotar, anyone. They did not act anymore as confident, because I got MK Ultra proofs. You couldn't prove me being insane anymore. You couldn't prove anymore to me a lie known as a paranoid schizophrenia, with which Slovenian psychiatrists have labeled me with on behalf of Milorad Dodik, Bosnian Serbs, Serbs in Serbia, Belgrade, and Russians, Moscow. Therefore, they couldn't do it anymore because in Poland in 2018 I already got a hold of such a strong proofs about my being brought to Poland already before from the US, from Slovenia, for torture, MK Ultra torture, that there was no way they possibly could do absolutely anything about it anymore. This case was bound to come out, and there is nothing possible these people could do. Maybe just one more thing they could do, and that's what this individual, this Kotar, told my mother. He told her it's going to be necessary one more sacrifice, and he told her it's going to be the last sacrifice. And the sacrifice was this thing here that you see here, this, the green stuff that you see, this. The sacrifice was that, the only thing I can say is I remember my mother saying, so this is going to go all to hell. She had just like you see green things ready also in 2018 when I was in Poland, and she was extremely unhappy, because when Dr. Igor Kotar told her about the sacrifice, he meant the situation I have just indicated to you right there, that COVID issue right there. They were playing with the COVID, not with the COVID, excuse me, with the viruses inside of this household here. On behalf of government of United States of America, unfortunately that I have to say this, on behalf of Great Britain, Buckingham Palace, London, Berlin, they were playing inside of this house here since year 2000, if not 1999. How this stuff looked like? Well, I was used for a variety of things. I was brought all over the world, all over the Europe, hijacked from the US for a variety of interests. However, in Slovenia, in this household, this area, this neighbors here, all this, they were grooming me to look insane. They wanted to parallel to using me for their geopolitical interests. They wanted to have the future ready, me being labeled as mentally ill individual. And so since 1995, Dr. Igor Kotar was playing with infections. They were playing with the teeth. They were literally beating down immune system, causing all kinds of trouble. And simultaneously, since 99 probably, they started also to play with viruses. They also started to use viruses. It was a cancer play, blood pressure, I don't know what they were doing. And one of the things they also started to play was with the viruses. However, individual that played with the viruses was not Dr. Igor Kotar only. Dr. Igor Kotar assisted, but he did not go straight into these issues. The one who was also known as a physician that experimented with the viruses and became obsessed with this shit was no other than the guy who examined me at the hospital. That was Dr. Ilic. That's a half Serb, 100% Chetnik, 100% Serbian Chetnik. He was the one, he was playing the first time with this shit in 99 or 2000. And then he pulled something really, really bad in 2002. He was the one who started to play with virology, viruses, infections. However, these were not, I'm not saying that these were coronaviruses. Coronaviruses, ladies and gentlemen, have been around already for God knows how long. You can go and see it, that this is really actually nothing new. And in an element like this, in which the king of all this crime against me here in Slovenia, in this house, were psychiatrists. You're talking about the Serbian, again, half Serbian, half Slovenian, Zoran Muja, psychiatrist, Chetnik, 100% Chetnik. And then what became his assistant was Tatjana Prokšelj, again, half Serbian, half Slovenian, 100% Chetnik again. So you had these Slovenian people and you have Serbs that these Slovenian people would assist. And they wanted to grow me to look mentally ill. And when you label somebody with a diagnosis, with a psychiatric diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia, you are looking into the person who would potentially talk about how somebody's trying to kill him, how he's being poisoned. This is like a classic shit, right? And then if you would add on his resume, if you would have a capacity to add on his resume also that he would state to you this kind of stuff, that they were playing with viruses inside of this household here. Now that would actually, for the psychiatrists who wouldn't allow the second opinion from psychiatrists when they did not diagnose me, they labeled me. They denigrated me with a thesis that I have a paranoid schizophrenia without having absolutely any proof, because no proofs, nothing whatsoever existed. There was no proof. Exactly the opposite. It would be very, very, very helpful for them, and that's exactly what they have proceeded. Dr. Psychiatrist Zoran Muja, psychiatrist Tatjana Prokšelj, got themselves as a helpers several physicians from the General Hospital of Novo Mesto, and this household of ours here became like a fucking lab where they were playing with the viruses. There was no less, I estimate, I have had no less I would estimate probably about 15 infections, the viruses, 15 viral infections that I had suffered inside of this household as a result of play with the viruses over the course of since 1995 to 2018. I estimate at least 15 infections, and I estimate that they had me transported, because they involved in this entire hospital, Novo Mesto. Ambulance services were used to transfer me to the hospital for a torture on probably, I estimate, up to somewhere at least just to the hospital and back is what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about like a virus related to the hospital and back. I would estimate to about at least 25 times. 25 times over the course of 23 years, 25 times at least. And it was probably maybe even 30 times that they would have ambulance vehicle come, pick me up and take me to the hospital. They referred to the hospital procedure as a gassing. The hospital procedure on audio recording from June the 1st, because I have audio recorded the whole thing about what happened on June 1st. It becomes evident that It was the same room since 2000, I don't know, 2016 or whatever they opened that room. They would use, no, it was before that, 2012, I think, when they opened this room. This is a room on a lower floor. They added office. On a lower floor, you would have literally ambulance vehicle that would stop by right in front of the room, and they would idle the ambulance vehicles right in front of the room to the degree that you would get poisoned from carbon monoxide from diesel. They would deliver me inside claiming that I hate Jews, that I was the one who wanted to gas Jews. But this was a frequent Serbian, Slovenian stuff they used. Slovenia, which is using a Russian flag, is nothing other than a Russian satellite inside of the European Union. Is presenting everything that is wrong with the world, really. I wouldn't go into my being beaten up in front of the partisan memorial since 1995 and even brought inside of the jail of the serial killer Metod Trobec, brought from United States of America, brought inside of the DOP prison to the serial killer Metod Trobec, with whom they were comparing me with. They wanted the whole world to see me in Slovenian serial killer. They wanted me to see myself in Slovenian killer by claiming me that this is a Slovenian guy and he's just a casualty of the politic, that he committed crime and that I should be the one who will save him, and my being brought to his prison cell is going to give me capacity, ability to identify him. That kind of stuff I'm talking about. The man who was behind this stuff was a Milan Kučan, Marcel Štefančič. And then you have right here, right there, that's a household of Miroslav Berger, for instance. They were the ones, one of the most active people that would, during Yugoslavia, travel to Belgrade. This guy actually anticipated he would even become a president of Yugoslavia, of the Yugoslav Federation. You have no fucking idea what kind of people we got here behind this house here when we moved to this fucking village here. Another specialty of this hatred was to present me as to the world, because that's all they were doing. The only thing they were doing is to create as many as possible enemies against me. And so they wanted to present me to the world, to the Jews, as a hater of the Israel, hater of the Jews. They wanted me to see myself as a Nazi. This is what this platform was used as. This beatings in front of the partisan memorials, they anticipated the more severe, the more I'm going to see myself as a German, and as such I would hate the Jews, and then they would properly position themselves politically on the side of Jews by inciting me in gassing of the Jews, which they would rationalize to the Jews as a Slovenian form of justice, and exactly through the type of methods I have already stated to you. I would be brought with the ambulance vehicle to the General Hospital Novo Mesto, placed inside of this room on a lower floor, where they would have this ambulance vehicles idle with the open windows, and I would choke myself for hours. They would have me inside, and I would choke myself drugged up under MK Ultra, on this carbon monoxide and this diesel smell and so on that would enter inside of the room. This was a regular procedure to which Slovenian criminals refer to as gassing. They said, we're gonna go get Jews. We're gonna go get Jews. So this is a country that is completely in line with a genocidal state. This is a completely extermination state. This is not a state like a legal state. That this would be like a state that would be binded with some kind of legal agreements or international recognition or something like this. This nation as a nation is non-existing. And the country itself is just a Russian satellite. This is the country that violated and violates every rule that pertains to United Nations, European Court for Human Rights, everything that is written about human protection. These people have gone and just, it's I would say it's unbelievable. But this stuff here, that they have gone as far as playing with the viruses to get the alibi for the psychiatrists. Maybe this was yet maybe the best of them all that I have to report. Something I was warned about, that I shouldn't even talk about it. But it's something that I do have to report about this stuff, because the next thing you're gonna see is gonna be a police report against the police on a regional level as well as on national, this Slovenian Ljubljana level. This crime was ran by the Slovenian police, to make myself clear, that it was always a Slovenian police. They will always have Slovenian police officers next to them that would provide protection for the hospital staff, for psychiatrists, for all the violence that was done. They always had the bodyguards next to them. They were always protected. They always performed crime under protection. So my mother in 2018 was extremely disappointed, because she knew, Dr. Igor Kotar told her that she would suffer tremendous health setback as a result of this infection, common infection as well. But that was apparently because I didn't come to conclusion because of Igor Kotar, because of the neighbor Igor Kotar, but this is a pure evil. This guy, this is 100% evil, man. This is a death, basically. I can't say a positive word of this. This is the worst guy the worst I ever come across in my life. I don't know. This is just this street here that you see right there. This is a fucking evil. This is a plain evil. There's people here behind, from this guy here that wanted to be Yugo president, and then the other ones. This is a fucking Udba people. The worst. I don't know. Frankly, I don't know how these people are allowed to be inside of this country, but they are allowed to be inside of this country. That's a reality here. My mother was very disappointed because she knew she's going to get this virus. And it was not a Kotar, the one that would threaten me in any way, that it would fuck me up, because I would come up and claim that this was actually implanted virus. I'm talking about that they actually planted COVID virus inside of the household. No. I got the source about what earlier I stated to you about the psychiatrists, how they're gonna try to present me as. I got the source from, that's an ambulance vehicle right there. I got the source about the information about what they're gonna try to do to me, literally from number one was Milorad Dodik from Serbia. He was the one who stated to me they wanted me to present this case like some kind of sensation. They wanted me to go out and claim this would be like a big prize. These people actually anticipated me, I would say, that It's something I was told is going to be under MK Ultra. It's something that already was done to me under MK Ultra, talking about the COVID, and they did it to me, and they planted inside, and da 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 da. You know, this is like something that would cause tremendous, tremendous, tremendous problem for me, because how the fuck do you under MK Ultra can tell that you had COVID? I cannot tell. I can tell that the viruses they used were bad. I can tell that there were two really, really bad viruses. Psychiatrist Prochel alone stated me. And this psychiatrist Prochel stated me that they would be necessary to be used at this stage and point against me, so that it would be easier to define, as she claimed to me, she claimed that it would be under normal circumstances it's difficult to notice whether there is something wrong with a person or not. And even if you have a light infection, she claimed, if you're exposed to certain possible even infection and stuff like this, she stated, if it's really, really bad, that all the signs about mental illness and so on comes out of you. Those are the words from psychiatrist Prochel. She also insisted that there were two viruses they used under MK Ultra that were bad enough that would eventually qualify for like recommendation, whether the guy can fit into the group of normal people or the guy simply cannot withstand physical, psychological challenge of the virus, therefore intensity of the virus itself presents. That was psychiatrist Prochel. Psychiatrist Prochel was the one that had used personnel from General Hospital Novo Mesto literally to support her thesis about a paranoid schizophrenia and stuff like this that she and other people, Slovenian judiciary system, have labeled me with. And so what happened with the Milorad Dodik, with the Serbian Chetnik? What happened with this guy? This was the guy who was 100% that I want to look like exceptional, that I can do. They always wanted to make me feel like that I am invincible, that I can do stuff, that I can just so that it was presented to me under brainwashing in such a sense that now that's something you're not going to be able to prove, and this and that. We're going to try, well, let's try and see, but if you say this, if you say that, you're going to be in trouble, and so on and so forth. This was just the way the Serbs challenged with that issue. They actually wanted to come out and for me to say, yeah, they had a COVID, they were playing with a COVID, and so on and so forth. I cannot say that. The only thing, as close as I can come to this whole thing, what I can come to is basically exactly what I stated to you right now, and that is as detailed as possibly could be. I repeat to you, it was a psychiatrist, Tatjana Prochel, that insisted there were two viruses that would actually qualify to determine whether there is something wrong with me as far as mental illness, that can be something that can be proven, or simply that they would have to let go. So she hoped for some kind of, probably, I don't know, eccentric, whatever kinds of reactions from me that Slovenian system could use. I'm saying this because this is grotesque, that you would plant somebody like they did plant me, and they did not plant me only with the coronavirus. They planted me with another infection. It was not about the coronavirus only. It was more than about the coronavirus. I anticipate that probably another two infections, virus infections, were involved in this crime. It was not the coronavirus alone.
There were signs that indicated during this infection presence of other infection involved, and it was the mother who called to the hospital. This is also audio recorded. Right underneath, I'm going to put the original audio recording, who also assured me upon return from the hospital that physicians told her I had also other infections other than COVID-19 infections. So they planted inside of the household infections, COVID-19, and also God knows what other infections. So this was extremely intense infection. This was not a regular infection, but they gave to psychiatrist Proxer, they gave to this psychiatrist, they gave him extra hand, they gave him extra power, they gave him extra strength to demonstrate that something is wrong with me. And I don't know what the fuck to tell you. They destroyed me 28 years of life. They pushed during this infection no less than 7 needles in me, and they demanded as a test for the COVID twice to go inside of my nasal holes to degree that they demanded I would cough. They would fucking drill me inside with these swabs, and they tested me twice for COVID. I don't know why that would be. They tested me here at the house, and then they tested me again when they brought me from the house to the hospital and so on. And 7 needles, no less, within few hours of time, just like they promised me they would do. Infection was not restricted only to COVID, but was also other viral infections. The pain itself, when it comes to throat, like I said, there was other viral infections. It's bordered on deleria, on pain. I thought I will fucking choke myself from the pain in my throat. I couldn't swallow. I already had a difficulty to breathe. I had a mucus staff. It was like, you know, like harmonic. I don't know how you would say, but that's from COVID. But nonetheless, there is more stuff that's interesting stuff that I'm going to say about it. I want to go back to this Milorad Dodik, to this Serbian Chetnik from Bosnia. I want to finish about this stuff. They had other people involved in this stuff. It was again internationally covered operation. What that means is that, you know, I'm not going to get any kind of this. In a way, this does not do any help to me, this stuff. Because you would have to have the police, you would eventually under this, normally you would get, we don't have here the federal police because we're in the European Union. But eventually this is the kind of stuff you would have to have the police, even Interpol, you would have to have the people from all over the world coming and investigating stuff like this. I will not get any of this stuff. It was Buckingham Palace that was involved in it. And when I say Buckingham Palace, that's British, that's London. You see, Milorad Dodik doesn't have nothing to worry about, the Serb, anymore. You see, they provided complete cover-up for him. Chinese have stated me, do not even mention COVID, anything like this. COVID in 2018, the last time, when they warned me about this stuff, was not even COVID. It was known as a bad virus. What kind of a virus this was, I had no fucking idea. They tested a variety of viruses on me. And the thing is, you know what? They probably tested 15 different viruses on me. I said that I was 15 times in the hospital. They tested probably 15 different viruses on me since 1995. I'm idiot. I'm exaggerating. This was a big business. This was a big fucking torture here inside. COVID-19, God knows, I had no idea. The only thing I know is it was known as a bad virus. Bad virus which everybody knew about, not only General Hospital Novo Mesto, but also a private third-party physician referred to one to me also in 2018, unless it's going to be a bad virus, it's going to be that bad virus. She did not even know about this bad virus until like 2015, 2017, 2018. It was known as a bad virus. It was known as a bad virus. Was this bad virus COVID-19 they talked about under MK Ultra? I cannot say that. I have no way to confirm, because this is the kind of stuff I have not exercised enough interest in. I did not even understood what exactly that kind of stuff would do for me. You know, I did not I did not understand what exactly. That's the ambulance vehicle leaving now. I did not even understood what exactly this virus, what this stuff was do bad. I was laid back. I didn't care about this play with the viruses. I didn't put no intention, no attention to it. When they said to me, talking about the British here, talking about the Prince William, that they would come here, and you about the play with the viruses was you from his mouth was you're gonna win. How win? And I didn't even know what, because this is how you get information on the MK Ultra. It's all stressed out all over the place. And he said, "You're gonna win if this is what's gonna mess you up, destroy you. There is only one way you can win." And he said, "How are you gonna win?" Well, the only way you're gonna win this stuff is that you're gonna go and you're gonna pick up all the fruit. All the fruit. When I say all the fruit, strawberries, cherries, a lot of fruit, basically, that is, for what I indicated a little earlier, I was told is going to go to hell, because when you have a COVID, that's really, really bad. But if you have another virus added to that, or maybe even two, that's worse. My mother was actually, she was vaccinated 3 times, and what I can tell you is that she was completely helpless. She ended up in the bed, she ended up with a temperature, she ended up just as when I related earlier to 2018, right here, between Kotar and between her, how it's going to be necessary one more sacrifice, and that's in relate to viruses, and then it's going to be over. That's what the Kotar claims. When I think about it, exactly fit to this information the two gave out in 2018. In 2018, Kotar was very, very dismissive that I will not make it. So they were preparing this literally for the sake of psychiatrists, this kind of stuff. They were preparing this stuff for the sake of psychiatrists to make me look as paranoid, that kind of stuff, I suppose. He was sure that I'm not gonna make it. This information might seem to you confusing. Maybe I'm even talking maybe like somebody who would be diagnosed maybe with a paranoid schizophrenia or something like this, because this the kind of people that are mind is scattered all over the place. But this is what MK Ultra is. I was told MK Ultra is schizophrenia. This is paranoia. Schizophrenia is what it is. This is what it is. Now, of course, it's not. I'm going to tell you what it is. The information you get is very incoherent. This is the information they feed you with is oftentimes, most of the time, a lie, because they try to portray you as crazy as possible. They also transfer this information to you in the most violent ways so that you would react accordingly to the way they want you to respond. You know, this June 1st, 2022 hospitalization here, this was not about the COVID. This was not about infection extra or maybe 2 other infections added to the COVID. This was about the torture that took place previously. This was about a rehearsal of the torture which took already on several occasions with the people that tortured under MKUltra and who hoped they would get some kind of response from me that would give them the ability to say that something is wrong with me. This is not about what earlier I have stated about the psychiatrist Prokshur, how that you are exposed to psychological, physical pressure because of certain strength of the virus that give then certain degree assurance to the field of psychiatry as labeling one that after all something might be wrong with it. This is not about this shit. This is about the way that information is translated to you, about the physical and psychological torture. This is no fucking abuse. This is clearly a torture. It's also a strength. COVID is a very bad virus, and you have another virus added to this shit. Probably this is not a joy. And it's this procedure itself, the way they ran this procedure, and when you recall this kind of stuff, and the stuff, who is doing this kind of stuff, this other stuff that was done parallel to all this stuff, this is very, very unpleasant. And more likely than not, the idea here is to get some kind of violent response so that they can acknowledge you, they can say that something is wrong with you and this and that. So this is basically, this is what this stuff is all about, yeah? So when I say about the COVID from the past, I'm just gonna say that I don't know anything about the COVID. I cannot say that I had the COVID in the past. I cannot say that. There is not enough information also on the internet that would give me a platform to even claim something like this, plus being realistic, being exactly what I was under MKUltra, a tortured subject. I can absolutely not say due to lack of interest of mine for this kind of virological stuff that it was COVID-19 I had in the past. This is something I cannot say. However, I can say that they did talk about the very, very bad virus. What kind of virus this was, I don't know. So I'm going to say, as far as the China, I'm going to say no. I'm not saying that they were using COVID on me under MKUltra. I'm not saying also to this Serbian Chetnik Dodik, Milorad Dodik. No, we're not going to say that I was tortured with the COVID-19. And after all, it doesn't make any difference to me. What it makes a difference to me is that they tortured with the viruses under MKUltra for no less than 23 years. Now that's a long fucking time. That's when I stated that they tested on me at least 15 different viruses inside of this house here. This is no fucking joke. This is not something to undermine, underestimate. And when I say that it was a neighbor, Dr. Igor Kotar, who had somebody deliver virus inside here, inside of the private residence, this kind of stuff is not a joke. The same day when they identified me with COVID-19, they claimed my mother that it's the father also who had COVID-19, that he was identified also as one of the people, his room at the hospital, because all this shit started with the father. They wanted to get rid of the father per ASAP. My father is very badly damaged in the hospital, where they're working on getting rid of one. They are trying to get rid of him. I was trying to help him out, and he just thinks that on the other side of the plot, the grass is greener, unfortunately. I don't know what future has in it for him. These people at the hospital have nothing good. These people at the hospital told me under MK Ultra that if I'm gonna get COVID, COVID virus, if it's gonna be some kind of a virological situation, like issue like this, it's gonna be the father who's gonna be also hospitalized that is gonna be blamed for. And it was this hospital, General Hospital Novo Mesto, who insisted me to get rid of the father per ASAP. Psychiatrist Petar Kapsh was one of the people who insisted that with the older father, this and that, better not. Then it was a niece and good portion of the family that insisted for me to get rid of the father. In fact, insisted that father is stubborn, that he does not want to follow instructions, does not want to follow the rules, it's best to get rid of him. Stated me that if we're gonna have to go and visit him to the hospital, we are gonna get virus, perhaps even from him, that this is what the government have prepared for him. You know, they wanted me to reject my father based on virus they brought inside of this residence here, by claiming me, this is what they brainwashed me under MK Ultra, that older people is best to get rid of them, because when they go to the homes for elderly people or hospitals and you go to visit them and stuff like this, already that's very bad for you, because this is where you get viruses, you get sick. This is nothing but trouble with old people and so on and so forth. So they are trying to get, this is unprecedented what this hospital here, General Hospital, the Novo Mesto, is doing. Not only to my father, this stuff started with the father. It was the psychiatrist, they use him, politicians from Ljubljana, like a toy, basically. Like a toy, like a remote control, like you would use, like you would remote control problems, basically multiply them and so on. My mother is a subject to these rules. She has to comply. It's like a father said, she is nothing other than a city employee. If she would not comply with this stuff, it would be her turn as the next. This is how they have us here now. This is how we are. So this is under complete control of the police, psychiatry, and the General Hospital of the Novo Mesto. I don't think I have anything I would add to this stuff. They're probably gonna murder father. They destroyed me 14 days in June, which was also the plan, which is also psychiatrist Prokshel, Petar Kapsh insisted me, this is we're gonna fuck you in the middle of the summer, because this is a cold weather here, and so the maximum damage we're gonna cause to you would, they have this program, it's gonna be through the father, and then we're gonna COVID. So it's like zig, 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 and before you know the summer is over, you got extra kilos, we fuck you up, we buy time, we cause you damage, tuck, 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 tuck. So we have a police now planting viruses inside. Neighbors here involved in this crime with the viruses. This does not stop. Violence in Slovenia does not stop. There is always a new trick inside of the book of the police. They always come up with more problems, with extra added problems and so on. Yeah, with the viruses, they did damage to me. They I don't know what to say about. I don't know what to add to this anymore. This is just. From my perspective, I applied for some jobs, and evidently that they are doing everything possible to cause problems on every step of the way. If I go back to the Prince William, when he stated, to finish this video, when he stated to me that you will win, however, only if you will pick up all this fruit. It was a lot of fruit. I had to pick it up. You would not want to do this on your second, third day of COVID infection. And as I stated, I had at least one more infection, viral infection, and maybe even more. And I did not even understood what the hell this guy was talking to me about when he said that you're going to win this if you're going to pick up all this stuff. Only if you're going to pick up all this stuff, and so on and so forth. Sure, you get the vitamins. You get the vitamins. If you eat fresh strawberries, cherries, and stuff like this, you get the best. You get fresh vitamins. You get it's healthy for you. It helps your immune system. There absolutely is no doubt about it. However, I added all the numbers together. I will not forget, for instance, psychiatrist Tatiana Prokshel, when she was here. Sometimes, I don't know what year it was, maybe 2003 or something like this, that I am nothing special, but the garden is really nice. That's really good. The guy who came here with the ambulance vehicle, whom I already have identified, a doctor, a Slovenian guy, he was picking up cherries from this tree. I would be drugged up, and I would find myself next to him, next to another, the guy who examined me at the hospital and so on. It made no fucking sense to me. What the fuck? What is with these people? Especially because my mother, forget about my niece. She would not give anybody any kind of fruit. She wouldn't give one fucking nothing. No way. They know what is organic. They keep this shit to themselves. I was rated as a pest. I was rated as a mouse, as a rat, as a pest. Under MK Ultra, forbidden, dared, insulted, dared to come to pick up the fruit on the yard. I never did. Nor strawberries, not even fucking apples. If I went to pick up the apple somewhere, I did go for a walk or something and I got myself an apple. This is how much I hated them. I have to be honest. This is how much I hated them. This is how they treated me. I swear it myself to destroy these people at whatever cost might be to my life, to get them down, to have them on trial, and pay for what they did, because this is how bad it was. And so it didn't make me no fucking sense. They had here physicians, psychiatrists here that next to me, that they had me drugged up next to them, picking up cherries, strawberries and shit like this. I was like, what the fuck? Well, yeah. They dared me. They wanted me to talk about this stuff because, why? Because they labeled me with the paranoid schizophrenia, right? So they label you with the mental illness. And when you talk about the shit like this, you get yourself in the cage. You dig your own grave, basically. So that's something my family would give them fucking gold if they were capable to produce this kind of world of claims that there's actually something psychologically with me. They were the one, after all, who gave them support to hospitalize me in 2013 with a bunch of lies about the domestic abuse, violence, and so on and so forth. That did make sense. My family worked together with them very, very much. Unfortunately, father did tremendous damage, and That's what he is running away from. To the other side of the plot, where the grass is greener. But it's not green these days at all. So if I go back to Prince William and I think about what the fuck was this guy talking about, that I'm gonna win if I'm gonna collect all these vitamins, let's see here, from the garden, because that was one of the things. Is that second thing that he did not explain, how you're gonna win. But that's something that some other people explained to me during their visits, when they were paying their visits. They will be watching everything when you get COVID-19, how you take care of the fucking garden. And when I said earlier about the Dr. Igor Kotar, when he said to my mother, it's going to be one more time is going to be necessary to sacrifice. Yes, it is. One more time is necessary to sacrifice, because they come and they look what the fuck you have in the garden, how you take care of your mom, your elderly mom. Does she has food to eat? Does she has all this? Is it clean? Do you pick up the fruit, or is this fruit rotten? My mother had a tremendous problem with my picking up the fruit. It was a ripe fruit, strawberries, cherries, everything. She protested big time against my picking up any fruit and so on, that it's better from the garden. That's another stuff I'm going to release in the audio. It was a protest after protest after protest after protest from her side, to the degree that she asked me in one day, maybe 6 times, maybe more, we had an argument, because I told her, what the fuck is this shit that I go pick it up, the fruit, all this, I'm taking care, and you're yelling on me for just doing exactly this, so you can have a fresh fruit inside, so you don't have to go, because you can't even go out in the garden, so that I take care of you, and I'm bitched for picking up the fruit. Yes, these people come in here, if I wouldn't do it, because this is what they hope for, and would record for themselves how the fruit went to hell and that kind of stuff. And then you have a mother that is older and in bed with the COVID and stuff like this, and you can't take care of yourself, not mother, no nothing. That's when you lose the case. That's what Prince William did not tell the whole thing about, why this, you can either win or you can either lose. That's maybe something I'm gonna produce, the audio. Interesting. I think it was already on June 3rd. I had some Serbian also calling that was involved in MK Ultra. They had Serbs involved in this games with the viruses and so on. What was going on? Dr. Illich, to prove that I'm a paranoid schizophrenic, he nested himself inside the living room, in my room, during MK Ultra, and was demonstrating me next to psychiatrist Petar Kapsch on how I have to slowly, gradually do the stuff when you have a COVID-19. These people anticipated big time for me to go and talk about, well, to present myself to the world as much as possible as a paranoid schizophrenic. On my side, I have physical proofs. I have identified people, locations, at home in Slovenia, abroad in other countries, anywhere from Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, but also US, Britain, and so on, Germany. They don't have shit. That what I stated here brazenly for the first time in 2018 to Kotar, that I sent him to the fucking hell right here in front of the house, explain he is a fucking nobody and nothing. I'm coming for him in 2018. I repeat this. I'm telling you, the police reports coming against the police of Novo Mesto and police on the national level including both the directors. One is Janez Ogulin here of the Novo Mesto, and then you have another psychopath over there as a Slovenian director of police. That's how we're gonna do it. And I am glad this shit is behind me, because I have to pursue, after all, job search. Job search, however, I cannot pursue as long as I'm not equal, because there is maybe 80% of jobs I am fit, but I'm not allowed to participate in, because the psychiatry, the police, the Slovenian judiciary system have labeled me as mentally ill, as a paranoid schizophrenic. So you have to agree that for me to file criminal charges against this country, which already at the police level in the city of the Novo Mesto, every police officer stated to me whenever I stopped by to file the police report, and it was the same with all the psychiatrists, this is for the United Nations information, that I have to explain them what MK Ultra is, and all these people were involved in MK Ultra. How the fuck do you work at the police, or how the fuck do you work in the field of psychiatry if you don't know what MK Ultra is? When you say you don't know what MK Ultra is, I'm thinking about the mass shooting, mass killing in the United States of America that takes place on at least weekly basis. It's a bullying, it's a challenging, it's a murder attempt. When you're gonna say next time that you don't know what MK Ultra is, I'm gonna request your superintendent and I will file criminal charges against you personally. This is how it's gonna be. Thanks for watching this video. June 12, 2022 it is, and that's how we're gonna play from here on. Viruses, torture through the viruses, and even having them embedded inside of the home. This was the thing here in Slovenia, in the city of the Novo Mesto. This was part of MK Ultra. This is what, unfortunately I have to say, even Americans, Britons, Germans believed is going to help them out, is going to clear the charges against them as per having any kind of involvement against me. And that's really, really sad.